Come on in. It's that time.
All day I rush around, but I'm still on the ground, on the ground. I'll soon be fluttering if I can find my wings, find my wings. Impatiently I want to fly today, but I hear a gentle voice inside me say that slow and steady steps will be my pace. Slow and steady steps will win this race.
Come on in.
It will take some time, but the victory will be mine. Slow and steady, I'm gonna learn to fly. I'm starting to believe I only race with me, only me.
Sunny Texas, that's good.
I can't give to someone else this journey for myself. It's for myself. Since my best is all I have, it is enough.
I do too.
I can see a ray of hope. I've got to trust that slow and steady steps will be my pace. Slow and steady steps will win this race.
Rockingham,
It
New
will
North
take
Carolina.
some time,
Been there.
but the victory will be mine. Slow and steady, I'm gonna learn to fly, and I will soar. I will reach the sky, a little at a time. I'm reaching, I keep believing that slow and steady steps will be my pace. Slow and steady steps will win this race. It will take some time, but the victory will be mine. Slow and steady, I'm gonna learn to fly. Slow and steady, I'm gonna learn to
Get on in here, everybody. Leanne's talking about Mark being under the house, putting in plumbing stuff for their new bathroom. You know, crawl spaces are creepy. I grew up in an area where, oh no. I forgot to turn it off. Where we had flooding from the Mississippi River. And the water would get underneath houses in one part of town. And a guy had to go under the house to fix something after a flood, and he went under there and he got bit by a cottonmouth, water moccasin, deadly snake. His brother went in after him, and he got bit by the same snake, or maybe there are a pair of them. 2 people died under that house. So if you're going to go under a house, do it in the wintertime when there's not floodwaters, and do it when, oh my, I remember that. It was just awful. I don't remember what year it was. Probably like 84 or something like that. We had a bad flood in 73. Anyway, it was rough. So I have been learning my snakes, and I've always known snakes pretty good, but learning my snakes, and we have 3 poisonous snakes around here. We have copperhead, coral snake down east in North Carolina, and what is a rattlesnake? The third one's rattlesnakes, and rattlesnakes come in lots of colors too. Copperheads do too. But copperheads, they have on the side of their body, it looks like Hershey Kisses. It's just the shape of a Hershey's Kiss in rows down the side of your body. And when you see that, you pretty much know that's a copperhead. And they have, just this triangular head. And they come in pairs. They really do. They come in pairs. And Robert, coming down the mountain back in the fall, he didn't run over. He ran upon a timber rattler. And it was a fine specimen of a timber rattler. And Robert stopped and talked to the snake. He wasn't Harry Potter speaking Parseltongue, but he got out and he took a picture of that snake. My husband is fearless. He didn't get that close to it, but he got a good picture of it. So, living in the mountains, there are timber rattlers and copperheads, and then down east there's coral snakes. Robert tells the story of coral snakes are vipers. Their venom, they don't have fangs like copperheads and timber rattlers. But this military dude was teaching the rest of the bunch about coral snakes, and he had one, and they're not very big. And I can't really identify them because there's corn snakes and there's a lot of snakes that look like. And there's even a rhyme, but I can't remember the rhyme that's supposed to help you identify. Red on black, jump back jack. I don't really know. But if you live where there's coral snakes, you need to know. I don't live where there's coral snakes, and I'm not going to be where there's coral snakes. But Robert tells this story that he had read once upon a time of this sergeant teaching his team about a coral snake. And he said, they usually bite you right here in folds of skin. And he's holding this snake up, and this snake whirls around and gets him right here in the mouth. And all he had time to do, because the venom is so fast acting, was tell my wife I love her, and he died. So somebody's telling red on black. Yeah. Anyway, know the critters in your area. Know what they look like. Black widow spiders, that's another bad one. Brown recluse spiders, know what they look like. Know what they look like. Being aware of your surroundings all the time. Whether you're in an urban jungle or the mountains of western North Carolina, know what it's like. Don't be sitting there taking pictures of everything and not looking around where you're putting your feet, Don't be on a subway in Washington, D.C. on your phone, not paying attention. She knows who I'm talking to. She knows exactly who I'm talking to. So always be aware of your surroundings. And if you see critters at the wrong time of day, like a raccoon in the middle of the day, something's not right with it because they're nocturnal. If you see bats in the middle of the day, something's not right. It's probably got rabies. Know your surroundings. Know where you are. Be aware of everything. My friend Joy, her boss moved her parking place, and she's in downtown Nashville. And she has to be at work real early in the morning. She gets up at 4:30. And then she has to drive to this parking garage, and she has to go from that parking garage 2 blocks to get to her store to open up. She runs a Jimmy John's in downtown Nashville. And I was terrified for her, just terrified for her. She says it's not a safe part of town. In fact, that's where the bombing happened. She was 2 blocks from the bombing. She was the only food place to get food in a big area when that happened at Christmas. And so Robert made her a billy club. Robert made Leanne a billy club too. He put some pretty wood on a lathe, and in fact, Joy's, he painted it black so she could carry it and nobody would notice it. So be prepared. Be prepared. Know your surroundings. Leanne, where is the billy club? She used to keep it by her front door. My state and the state of Tennessee, I follow 2 Facebook pages that identify snakes, so you can post pictures and they'll identify them. The billy club is in her car now. It's a good place. I have one in my car. Robert made Michelle one once upon a time. It's a good place to have it. Oh, that tea is going down good today. So know your surroundings. So I decided that I would let Robert help pick out the stove we get for the front room. It's our one little missing link to keeping our house heated. I mean, you think about Texas and what those folks went through. They didn't have fireplaces, much less wood stoves. And we could get hit with bad weather like that. We really could. It could come straight down from the great north and stay stuck on us. My grandmother went through a freeze in 2008. She died in 2012. But they went through 3 weeks in western Kentucky with no electricity. Thank goodness my cousin he took care of Granny, and he was able to go get her at the nursing home and bring her home to his home. And she got the master bedroom. He'd have to pick her up to put her on the bed. She was so tiny. And they had a wood stove and they kept warm and everything was fine. But for 3 weeks without electricity, 3 whole weeks. I just can't imagine. Just can't imagine it. So, somebody's saying, hi, Miss Silly. It's Silly with a C, Cilley. Silly. You pronounce it. Oh, I'll have to tell you this story. When Sync Reflections came out in 2001, in 2002, we went to Calgary, Canada for a book signing. Maybe it was 2001. I can't remember. But we went to Calgary, Canada. And we went to this bookstore. I think it was called Thackeray's. No, that wasn't it. Anyway, it was a big bookstore in Calgary. And Robert went with me. And we had a good time. We really had a good time. I asked him last night if he missed traveling. He said, no, not really. We've done our traveling. It's fun. And they didn't misspell my last name, but they called me Martha. They called me Martha. And Robert thought it was so funny because Martha Stewart was a big deal then. I said, you can call me anything but Martha. I am not a Martha. I'm a Marla. So just call me Fly Lady. And even when people, one time I was going to the courthouse in Hendersonville, and the guy they checked your purses back then. They had to go through a radar machine like at TSA. And he pulled me aside and he said, you're the judge's wife. And I said, yeah. And he said, can you tell me how you pronounce your last name? I'm scared to death I'm going to mispronounce it and the judge is going to put me in jail. And I said, it's silly. Just like it's silly, like sounded just like Silly, but it's spelt with a C and an EY at the end. He said, well, I didn't want to say that because I didn't want to be disrespectful. I said, when you mispronounce our name, and my husband had told me this, when they mispronounce their names, they do it better than it really is. So you can call me anything but Martha. Anything but Martha. But you just have to laugh. You just have to laugh. And when somebody calls Robert Bob, I know they don't know him. It's a sign. It really is. Life is good. Laughter is good for us. You just have to sit back and enjoy the ride. Now, I was talking about spiders a while ago. I had never seen a black widow spider until I was on a field trip with a geology class. And we went up on a new cut around Rosman. And we climbed up this, it was a pretty steep cut. And at the top of the cut, there was a nest of black widow spiders. I've never seen so many black widow spiders in my whole life. I was so happy to have on hiking boots. I was just so happy to have on hiking boots. I've seen one black widow spider here, and it was in my rock wall out in the front yard. And let me tell you, if you remember the little black patent leather shoes we used to wear or you got for your baby girl, black patent leather, the spider's body, a black widow spider, looks just like that. Just like that. I feed spiders. In the fall when Charlotte's Web, you got to read your kids Charlotte's Web. Not just watch the movie, just read the book. It's so much fun. And one time we got a big garden spider making a web in our window. And I would go catch crickets and put a cricket in the web and watch the spider do its thing. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Yeah, there's a lot of times we could be without power, y'all. There's a lot of times we could be without power. Hurricanes, floods, ice storms, deep cold. Somebody has a Manon. I had an Aunt Manon too. My grandmother's next sister up from her. They were like this. So Robert's going to research our wood burning stove. Justin has put in his 2 cents worth in. He's got a friend who heats his whole house with a wood burning stove. And I want to be able to heat water on it. I want to be able to humidify the house. They have fans now that run off heat energy. So yeah, there are some fun stuff out there now, and I can cook bread in a Dutch oven if I needed to. Yeah, I could do that right on top of the stove. Believe it or not. Anyway, folks, drink your tea. I think there's a nap in my future, just a little cat nap. Sometimes a 10-minute cat nap does more good. It's kind of like meditating. You're not really asleep, but you're not really awake either. It's kind of relaxing. Just a 10-minute nap will do wonders for you. But I've got decaf tea, and I will probably not be going to sleep so I can sleep tonight. Well, I'll see you tomorrow afternoon. No show in the morning. A Dutch oven bread. I don't really have a recipe. I do have a recipe for my bread machine. I think it would do really well in a Dutch oven. Anyway, I will talk to y'all later.